abductees and contactees seem to get duped by their alien friends as well, being told they are special and they have certain important functions to perform in the coming future. Some abductees claim that they have given permission for abduction through their unconscious mind and have developed a kind of a Stockholm syndrome, worshipping their abductors. What needs to be kept in mind is that these beings are able to create virtual realities, trigger emotions, and implant thoughts.
I believe now that the reported and confirmed details in all of these reports are strong evidence against accepting consciously recalled alien encounter reports at face value because of the illusion capabilities, because of the screens, and because of the virtual reality technology that we have witnessed being manifest by these entities. I believe that if we build our theories on such information, the consciously reported information only, we're building on sand, on illusions that the aliens create for us, and I think to confuse and mislead us. Now, this is not to say, however, that all alien encounters are virtual reality events, because there is also plenty of very strong evidence for the physical nature of many of these encounters. So to be perfectly objective, the definition of abduction would have to include any event or scenario that is generated externally for the targeted person, whether it be a physical encounter, a virtual reality scenario, or a telepathic contact.
Some people reported they felt this love when they had a UFO sighting. Well, looking a bit deeper into it all, a supposed feeling of love is by no means an indication that these are benevolent beings, considering they seem to be able to induce emotional states into humans at will. We can easily be emotionally manipulated, and we can be very impressionable beings. Movies are a good example of how sound and vision cry or be scared, let alone what hyperspace technology might be capable of that is clearly far superior than anything known to man. They can play any scenario to make the abductee feel as if it is a spiritual experience. Hence many contactees claim these alien beings are benevolent, despite the fact that abductions happen against their free will to begin with. In order to fully grasp the topic of abductions, we need to let go of what we think is or is not possible, while watching our conditioned mind, which tries to explain away such experiences with basic cultural approved psychology or New Age spirituality. It is very important to understand the high strangeness of the UFO and alien phenomena. People who haven't really looked into it carefully paint pictures too fast, asking how all this could be possible on such a grand scale without anyone really noticing. They don't realize that a lot of this is a non-physical phenomena, dealing with a high intelligence life form who might be a bit smarter than us humans and don't think like a human, that is able to pop in and out of 3D physicality, transcending time and space. They can insert thoughts, memories, emotions, and change appearances, such as past loved ones, Jesus, the Virgin Mary, Santa Claus, a Pleiadian, and so on, depending on the belief system of the abductee. This is further documented in Dr. Carla Turner's books Masquerade of Angels and Into the Fringe. In one case that I recount in Into the Fringe, James had mostly conscious recollections and almost no hypnosis. He remembered being drawn into the proximity of a beautiful Pleiadian woman who was very alluring and tender and almost seductive. She wanted him to come into her embrace. When he got into the embrace and thought she was going to kiss him, she disappeared entirely, and what was left in her place was a purplish-black, bumpy, almost slimy-looking character with fairly asymmetrical features. I have encountered the same type of creature in a couple of other cases. The entity was very strong. Instead of embracing James, the creature threw him down on the ground and shoved a 2-foot-long tube down his throat, into his stomach, and pulled up stomach juices. The next day, he still had some of the bile taste. The interior of his throat was sore, and he discovered claw marks around both sides of his neck where he had been held down. Laura Nadjajek writes in The High Strangeness of Dimensions, Densities, and the Process of Alien Abduction. Another disturbing factor that emerged from my research was that these beings, whether demons, vampires, or aliens, seem to have the ability to control our thoughts to a certain extent, our physical bodies, the weather, and even events in our lives. Many people reported that their abductors were benevolent beings, but when we consider all the factors of the big picture of the phenomena, it seems that such stories of benevolence may be misleading.
The first matter is the intrinsic deception at the heart of this agenda. And that's something that's become clearer with every new report that surfaces. Whether we choose to call it screen memory, telepathic mind control, technological mind control, or virtual reality scenarios, the entities involved in the abduction phenomenon employ masterful illusory capabilities. And I don't think the importance of this fact can be stressed strongly enough. It must affect all of our thinking and our research when it comes to these alien-human contacts.
When we talk about the possibility of an alien race of high intelligence that exists outside our range of perception on a higher density, it doesn't mean that they are automatically spiritually evolved or loving angels. This also doesn't imply that there aren't any benevolent beings on higher realms of existence. However, there is a heavy romanticizing of the alien UFO phenomenon. Could there not be the possibility that there is an alien intelligence that has been around far longer than we imagine, and who may look at us like we look at and use in many ways lower life forms on this planet as a resource and even as food? Food doesn't have to be physical, and these beings seem to feed off our emotions and energy. Are we really the peak of God's creation and so special and holy that nothing other than ourselves would harm, control, manipulate or consume us? Are we really that anthropocentric and ignorant to think that way? What do we really know? Humility is not our greatest strength. We usually give some quick explanation to uncomfortable questions rather than admitting, I don't know, and making more sincere efforts to gain knowledge and understanding, even if it contradicts our long-held beliefs. We trust official authority, science, religion, government to give us these answers so we can go on and make a living, not needing to think too much about the more disturbing aspects of our world. But maybe our official culture, with its institutions, is also a product of and influenced by the other, the alien mind, or predator, as Don Juan called it. Hence the debunking, ridicule, and avoidance of this topic in the public. Usually, if people admit that there might be other life forms visiting this planet, they tend to project human qualities into these visitors, rejecting anything that doesn't fit into this conditioned image of our space brothers. It's a typical, the aliens don't behave how they are supposed to, excuse and denial of the abduction phenomenon.